non-English speaking Europe. I had a preference for it because a lot of the problems of being called nigger, shit, shite, all that comes from Anglo-Celtic Europe. I didn't want to live up there, man. When Joan Collins, the famed actress Joan Collins, who I used to watch growing up with, when she played opposite John Forsythe in the fictional characters of Blake Harrington, and she played Alexis, if I remember correctly, the devious, conniving Alexis, which she was well suited for being British. She complained about London and the dangers and the thuggery of London, walking the streets of London at night, in certain areas, that she was afraid to go out of her upscale home in the wealthy area of London. So I would never live in the UK, man. Damn place, man. So the thing is, and I'm also catching a cold because if you're not eating, you're not bolstering your immune system. In my food stamps, listen to this. I'm a person who doesn't want to be on food stamps. Since I'm so dysfunctional as far as my appearance, there's nothing wrong with you. Look at my teeth. Oh, there's nothing wrong with you. People always say that. But look at my mouth. The first thing you look at, if I'm sitting around a United Nations or a diplomat, the first thing when people say once they start looking at my mouth, they'll say, why is this guy around? Who let him in here? Who let this guy in here? It's your mouth, man. You gotta fix your mouth. You have to fix your mouth, man. The teeth. And there was only one or two dentists or a few I would go to of New York, Lauenberg and Lutucci. Or since I'm in California area, I become in the jurisdiction of another. I call it jurisdiction of another of their brothers, their dental mastery brothers, Dr. Dorfman. These are only people that I would go to, man. And maybe a couple others to fix my mouth in Europe, in Scandinavia. What they call medical and restorative, reparative dentistry, cosmetic. Only people that I would go to, man. Dr. Dorfman, Lauerberg and Lutucci, but first Dr. Dorfman, then Lauerberg and Lutucci, and others to fix my mouth. And it would cost over 70,000 US dollars to fix my mouth. So in order to do that, to be self-reliant and resilient, and not to lean on a society to take up my expenses because of my flaws, because of just like they had a recent case of a Japanese man who was a truck driver who ended up in extreme poverty and ended up and eventually had so much tenacity that he became a truck driver. Instead of being homeless, he was a gainfully employed truck driver, but had to struggle and go through a lot of hardship. Found out he was a switched baby. He was switched at birth, whereas he is the actual child of a kind of wealthy parents, very wealthy parents, where the switch baby who took his place was growing up in the best of schools, the most elite quarters of Japanese society. They became a multimillionaire many times over. The chairman, the president of a huge real estate concern. So showing that clear point example how environment and what you're exposed and allowed access to shapes your future, not so much a divine type of thing as well. Even though that is part of it, but that's why it said in the hadith, the parents make the child a Jew, a Christian, a Muslim, a fire worshiper, Sabian, whatever, Magian. It's the parentage of what the child is exposed to, what formulates what they are. So that's why a lot of stuff, a lot of people going through stuff and shooting things in their veins and addictions and crying at night and being raped as I speak. People are being raped. Sometimes suddenly, sometimes regularly being raped in households because they got no place to sleep outside and it's getting cold. They don't want to be in the street, but they have to take abuse. Children have to take abuse in their anal rectum and cry at night, and nobody to cry to. Nobody will believe them at school, and do all kinds of horrible things just so they can have a place to live and sleep. And it's going on right around me, and we have to do something about it, man. Instead of saying, "Thank God I'm not in this situation," that's very selfish. I hate the part of Islam when people say you look at someone suffering and then you murmur dua and thank God that that you're not afflicted. Fuck all of that, man. Excuse my language, everybody. Not only thank God you're not afflicted, what can I do to alleviate? As there's past video I have where you see me and there's a Christian woman with tattoos or had tattoos, rough Irish Celtic ancestry in San Francisco, but she's church going at the Glide Memorial Church under Reverend Cecil Williams, who I found out lives in my favorite area. The area that attracted me the most was not Pacific Heights, since I like wealth. I like comfort. Even the Sufis or someone that might have been Sufi let me stay with him a little bit, a Turkish brother. who was helping me out, and I turned down his invitation to stay with him, but would help me with things from his house, money and whatever I needed. He told me, Adam, liebes ist Luxus. Adam, Bruder Adam, liebes ist Luxus. So many good people I lost track of, man, since this counterterrorism thing came down on a hammer, because I can't travel anymore safely and securely. And the other thing is people that are affiliated with Muhammad Atta, the extreme lunatic terrorist who harmed our people on September 11th when I was studying in Oberstein. I was studying in Oberstein, Germany at the time when September 11th was happening, attempting to study. I was trying to enroll and wait for the money from my mother so I can continue to go to the Gemological Institute, which I wanted so dearly. Um, Muhammad Atta is related to Sufism. Sufism, Sufism. Sufism, which one is parked right here in the parking lot. License plate 6, Victor X-ray Mike 041. He's a Sufi. He's not like Muhammad Atta or anything like that. No, anything, but he's a Sufi. Their overall agenda of the Sufi leadership is the hope that America would fall into a decline or to instigate events, attack, harming America's standing, the image, and accelerating, catalyzing a rapid decline, such as an event like that, and the standing in the world as their position, and then they would come in and take over or supplant current culture with their version. Listen to me very carefully. Their version of Islam, to where they become the titular head of a social order or structure, being that they already have clean-shaven, Western, modern, secular-looking type of appearance. Somebody's coming in now to open up the mosque this morning. He's one of the key people, the responsible people. The lights are on, but you can barely see the lights. You see the auto lights in a moment. So the Muhammad Atta type of leadership above him are Sufi clerics, mystics, mostly out of Egypt, mostly out of the Sudan, and they, yeah, he's coming in now. So their thing is to supplant or to try to instigate or to catalyze events, either like a social unrest or something like that, like a situation, some emergency situation, and then to catalyze that they have enough unity and resources and wealth from their other members to where people they would capriciously control access to food and comfort in a country of chaos, in almost a South American type situation. Then people would come to them and they would be able to gain control. And then their biggest aspiration was to gain political access, as Huma Abedin had. Huma Abedin is not one of them. Is not one of them, but sort of related, offshoot of Sufism. And their thing was to try to gain political access in the air of the powerful to further their ends, as they did historically against Sheikh Ibn Taymiyyah, Rahmatullah alayhi Katira, and others. They would gain the air of the ruling classes or the military or martial force of enforcement or imprisonment or incarceration or detention. They would gain the air and sometimes assuage the comforts of the needs of the individual, of the powerful, the general, the grand sheriff, whoever that is or whatever, and sometimes sexually as well. Whatever his inclinations is, they would provide him with younger paramours, young girls, belly dances, all that kind of stuff. Things that are considered outside the pale of austere marital Islam, and then they would keep it secret. And with that keeping it secret, then they would have an edge over him and use it as leverage to get things done against their competitors, people they view as adversaries, people like myself who are of the simple, not strict, but simple Sunnah, Islamic, simple, basic, rudimentary Sunnah without a whole lot of ads or without a whole lot of additives, fluff, or embellishment that the Prophet ﷺ didn't even bring. He don't like us, man. And the general Sisi movement in Egypt may have colluded and been in conjunction with Western desires, secret West, not overt, not openly in the sunshine in the public, secretly to get rid of the Morsi situation, of which the Morsi situation was not good. No, the Mahaquan Muslimin did a terrible job. Terrible.